Hi, everyone. My name is Colin Lowenberg, and I'm a product marketing manager at Sumo Logic. I'm going to be talking to you today about our AWS Observability solution, and we're going to be diving into a live demo of our product. So we'll do a quick intro to Sumo Logic and talk a little bit about our AWS Observability solution and what we're going to be demoing to you. And then we're going to do a live demo of the actual solution and talk about our customer use cases at the end with a Q&A. So I hope that you guys are prepared for an exciting webinar. So if you're not familiar with Sumo Logic has been around for almost 10 years, since 2010. We've got more than 2,000 customers, and those customers are actually performing more than 800 petabytes of data analyzed every day. So we've just updated those numbers, and we're going through exabytes of data every day being searched across by our customers. So those customers are making over 30 million searches every day. And what we try to provide is we collect all of the logs, metrics, traces, and events from all of your applications and services in the cloud or on-prem, and we pull them into our cloud platform and allow it to be searchable and provide you with insights and out-of-the-box dashboards that can pull out information from your massive amount of data and give you insights into your data. So the value of Sumo is not just collecting all that data into one platform, but rather giving you fast and easy access to that data and insights from that data. So you're gonna see some dashboards today that are actually out of the box, and that time to value, or TTV, is a key value that Sumo provides. We like to provide a time to value, or give you a very quick and easy way to get access to insights from your data without having to spend a lot of time setting up or building your own dashboards. So I'm going to talk a little bit about observability and what a continuous intelligence platform means. So Sumo Logic is a platform for really any type of intelligence that you want to capture out. We have 4 different areas that we see customers kind of focusing their use of our platform, and you can use it for all 4 types of intelligence. We see operational intelligence, which is what we're going to focus on a little bit today with AWS Observability. And in general, observability of your applications is a very common use case for collecting your logs and then viewing the status of all of your applications and services. As well, Sumo Logic is also used significantly in the security intelligence space. We have a SIEM tool that collects all of your security logs and allows you to identify security threats. And we also see customers using our platform to create business intelligence reports. So understanding how applications are impacting your business. So we're not just something that can look at IT information, but rather business level and CIO and CEO level reports. So it's something that you can create a dashboard and use that as a report for your entire business. As well, something that's somewhat unique to Sumo Logic is our global intelligence. So because we pull information across all 2,000 plus customers, that data is pulled into our servers, and we can actually generate trends and identify issues across all of our customers. And so we then give you access to some of that global intelligence data that pulls information from all of our customers, so you can identify something like a security threat that's affecting the entire customer base of Sumo Logic. Now, we'll be talking about how you can search and how you can collect that data, but our focus today on the live demo is going to be searching our logs and building and looking at our dashboards that are out of the box to how to monitor and visualize. So we're really going to be focused on operational intelligence for AWS applications and services. Now, why AWS? Well, AWS is a huge partner for Sumo Logic, and over half of our customers are using AWS exclusively. That said, we've seen a major growth in multi-cloud adoption. So multi-cloud is customers using AWS plus GCP, or AWS plus Azure, or AWS plus on-prem. And so we see customers still using on-prem, and we see a small percentage using GCP, but we see a very large number using AWS, either multi-cloud or AWS only. And this is actually data from our new continuous intelligence report that'll be coming out next week. A key thing that I think drives the need for a solution focused on AWS specifically is that the complexity of applications on AWS has grown significantly. In just the last year, we've seen the number of services used by most enterprises go from 15 to 26. That's the median number. So there's over 175 different services. So it's no surprise there's a long tail of services that are not heavily used, but more than half of our customers are using 26 or more applications. That's pretty big. And you can see the top applications are going to be things like EC2 and logs and S3, identity management, sign in, and Lambda. So we're gonna look a little bit at EC2 and Lambda in our live demo today. Also increasing that complexity is the number of accounts and regions that customers are using. So this is important to understand. We're pulling data not just from one account or one region, we're pulling all of your accounts and all of your regions into one dashboard. And so we'll show you how you can see across all of your services. And this way, your IT team, your operations team, your security team, they have visibility across everything rather than having their own siloed view of their AWS services that they own. Now, we talked a lot about complexity already, but I just want to drill down the point. Sometimes you get alerts across the board. You have all these signals and all this noise surrounding you, and it's hard to identify where the actual issue is coming from. So I'm going to show you today in the demo how you can kind of drill down from a high level 10,000 square foot view to identify what the actual issue is and get down into the logs and find the actual issue. So this will help identify what service is really causing the issue and get down to the root cause of an issue. So we're going to actually use something we call Root Cause Explorer today. So the AWS Observability solution is actually relatively new to Sumo Logic, and it's actually a collection of dashboards that are out of the box, back to that time to value. So we make it very quick and easy to get observability across your entire AWS deployment, as well as dive deeper with the Root Cause Explorer. So these are out of the box dashboards that we're going to be showing you today, not something that you have to spend hours or days building some custom solution. So I'm going to do a quick live demo now, and I hope you guys are going to enjoy this. So I'm going to jump into our dashboard right here. So in here on the left side, I can select my AWS Observability solution, and I can just explore by AWS Observability, and I can see immediately I have an overview of all of my AWS applications and services. So I have my resource activity here. I can see my load balancers, my API gateway, my EC2 instances, Lambda, RDS, and Dynamo. And we're going to dive into pretty much all of these today. So we're going to get deep into the weeds, but this is your 10,000 square foot view, or 10,000 foot high view, not square foot. And as well, we want to dive into one specific region. I'm going to look at my US East region. And now I can actually see all of my different services in that region. I can see EC2, I can see Lambda, I can see DynamoDB, I can see my ELB load balancer. Let's just take a look at EC2. This is the most popular service that AWS offers today. And right when I click on my EC2 on the dashboard left side navigation, I can see all of my instances here. It's not that useful to see all these instance names. It's much more useful to view it from this visual view that we've created for you out of the box. You can hover over these different entities, and each of these entities shows some information. This is actually showing the high memory utilization, got high CPU utilization, and I can see the different types of instances across all of them. Now, you see a lot of graphs here, but what I want to do is find an instance that's having issues. I see this one has high memory utilization. I can click on that, and immediately on the right side, I can drill down to that entity. So instead of trying to find the entity name and the list of entities over here, I can actually jump right to the error logs for that entity, or I can see a recommended dashboard, or I can dive into its actual entity or instance dashboard right here. So we also have an infrastructure tab that lets you get a quick view, dive into the memory utilization, and drill up to the different environment and deployment levels of that pod or that entity. So for this, I actually want to look at the entity dashboard for this, and that'll give me a little bit more drilled down view. So instead of looking at the 10,000 foot high view. Now I'm drilling down to that one specific instance. And now I see, okay, I've got some relatively high memory usage. I'm in the yellow, not the red here. Let's scroll down and see if we can see some information here. You know, it doesn't point out any memory issues right on this page. So I actually want to go and look at drill down to memory. So we actually have a built-in dashboard specific to memory for this EC2 instance. So I just drop down from this drop down here, and I can actually see the memory usage right here. And now I can see the memory usage versus the percent, and I can see the RAM usage right here. Now, this is a quick and easy way to have a view of an EC2 instance. However, I want to also talk about other services because we're not just focused on EC2 instances, we're also focused on Lambda and Dynamo and our load balancers. So I'm going to look at Lambda now, and I want to look for some errors on this page, something that I can drill down to and like investigate that error, right? So I'm just hunting for errors right now. And I can see, you know, there's definitely some red errors somewhere in the US. So I'm going to scroll down here and I can see some errors right here. And let me actually take off a filter that's right there. So I had a filter on before this, so sorry about that. Reloading the page. As I change the filter and automatically the page reloads with live information pulling from your logs. So immediately when I do that, now I see a much larger amount of data in here. And I want to filter that data down, but I want to focus on one specific error that I'm seeing. And as I see over here, and in fact, I can shrink this over here so you can see a little bit better. You can see there's a lot of get billing info errors right here. We've got 722 errors right here. That's quite a bit. As well, we can see get billing info is showing up on my failed requests. So I'm getting a lot of failed requests and no successful requests. So this seems like something that I should investigate. There's definitely a problem going on Lambda. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into this, and let's actually filter to that get billing, to that exact function. So I'm going to type in get billing info right here, and it's going to filter this page to just that one error message. And now you can see it's filtered down 719 errors in the last 24 hours. You know, it changed because within the last few minutes, it went from 720 to 719 because this is live data. Now I can see, obviously, that chart's not showing any other areas. So what I want to do is look at the most frequent operations here. And I can see that there's a specific operation, this invoke operation that this function is calling. And, you know, I see this high level dashboard, but now I want to get down to the nitty gritty. I want to see actual logs. So what we do here is we click on the little hamburger, the little options icon, the little 3 dots, and click open in search. And now I'm actually opening up our log search function. And you can see it automatically generated this beautiful search query right here. And it's showing me an aggregate of all of the get billing info events that are occurring. So this is the same chart I just had on that dashboard, but I'm now opening it up in the search so I can edit it. I can dive a little bit deeper. Now I can actually, instead of looking at this aggregate view table, I actually want to look at the direct messages. I just want to look right at the messages. So just on the left here, I change it from aggregate to messages. And now I can see the messages starting to load in here. And as I scroll down, I can see all this information, all of these events. I want to filter it a little bit more because I know that there is one specific event, that invoke event. So, or maybe, you know, I actually want to dive a little bit in. I'm going to try this update function code. So I want to look at that because invoke is, you know, it's a pretty common thing. It's just invoking something and it's failing. But it looks like update function code is failing. And I want to find out what that is because the invoke is pretty noisy, and I want to focus on this update function. And when it's going to take me and filter to that event. So if I look here at the top on my query, it's now updated the query by adding where event name update function code. So now I didn't have to actually type or learn how to use the query tool at the top, although as an advanced user, I encourage you to learn how to use the query tool, but just by clicking down below, it's automatically updated that query. I can also hide that query if I just want to focus on the UI experience and I don't want to dive into the query. I can get a little bit clearer view by hiding that panel. Now I can see right here in the messages, this update function is being run by a specific user. So Caleb, maybe I can reach out to them and ask them, hey, what's going on with this update function? Why is it failing? As well, I could check those other event names as well. So I could go back and look at any of these event names and find out who is behind it, which user is causing this issue. So that gives me a way to drill down and then find the specific function and the specific action that function is taking, and find out which users and which part of my application is causing errors. So now I'm gonna close out these. I actually want to go look at my load balancer and look for another issue. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna close out a few of these tabs at the top, and I'm just in my Explore tab. I'm gonna go and look at my load balancer now, or application ELB. And when I go here, I can see immediately a spike right here. So I can see right here, there's a little spike going on right here. I don't know what's causing. It's right around 4:30 p.m. So, that kind of stands out to me. All these other graphs are showing, nothing out of the order, nothing popping up, but I see one little error, drift in our metrics here. So I want to dive into this, but rather than looking at just my load balancer, I can actually look across all of my services and look for anomalies. And an anomaly is something that's out of the ordinary, right? So this would be considered an anomaly. There's something going on my load balancer, but I can't get that information. I could dive into the search here, but let's go up, and I actually want to look across all of my services and look for anything that correlates to this anomaly. So I'm going to go back to US East, and I'm actually going to look at events of interest. So this is what going to bring up our root cause explorer, but it's built into our AWS Observability. So I'm switching from this overview dashboard to my events of interest. This events of interest graph is going to give me a lot of data if I go back in time. So I'm going to go back in time the last 24 hours. And I'm going to look for any issues that are occurring. Let me go further back. So I can see on this graph right here, I have an X and a Y axis. On the X axis, I have time. So it shows me back in time all of the metrics that have drifted from their norms. And on the Y axis, I have a percentage drift from the norm. So this is going to identify any issues that are drifting from the normal level of metric. So if something is spiking, I can actually hover over these and get more information about them. Now, I can see here there's a Lambda, there's an ELB app error right here around 4:30 p.m. So, I actually want to get a little bit more filters. So we actually have a special view just for these types of events called Root Cause Explorer. And in the Root Cause Explorer, I can pull up that same information, but now I have even more filters that I can apply. So I'm going to apply some filters here. I'm going to clear all my filters. I can see all of the events of interest over time and over the last 3 days. And I remember we're looking for that something around 4:30. So let's change that namespace and let's look for that ELB app. And let's see if we can find that issue. Here's that 4:30 issue for the ELB app. And I can also see other issues for ELB also drifting out of time. So clearly there's something that's been occurring. It looks like it occurred at 4:30 on the previous day as well. So it looks like 4:30 on 11/17, 4:30 on 11/18, and 4:30 on 11/16. So there's something causing an issue just about every day around 4:30. So I can pretty much predict it's going to happen again today at 4:30. And I can see this drift right here. I can click on it. Let's go to this really high one because it drifted over 4,000% in 20 minutes. So it went far beyond what the metric was looking at. And now I can click on metrics on the right, and I can actually see the difference compared to history. So the green here, the green on the graph on the right is actually historical data. So it's the trend analysis over the last few weeks or months, time shifted by a day. So this is the previous day compared to the current day. So this way it can show you, something that's out of the ordinary, comparing it between today and yesterday. And if I look at the other one, let's look at the other one that happened on a different day. I can see again, we see that drift right here compared to the green line, which is the time shifted by 1 day. Now, if I want, I can actually dive a little bit deeper. I can go look at I can look at the error logs for this, and I can also look at the summary of those of that ELB. But I'm going to go look at the logs here. I'm going to click on error logs, and I can actually get a list of all of the errors that are occurring. Oh, there's no errors on that. Let's go back and select the let's look at a different service. Let's look at DynamoDB as well. Let's see if there's any correlation between this this timeline and anything else that's happening in here. So I want to actually look at the time frame that this 4:30 event occurred. So rather than just looking at ELB, I want to look at other services that occurred, that other drifts and metrics that occurred around that time. So I want to zoom in on that time frame. And we actually have a tool on this root cause explorer. I can select right here and drag, and it actually zooms in on that time frame. So now I'm zoomed in on that 4:30 time frame, and I see that ELB app error right here at 4:30 p.m. Now I can see around that same time, I've also got load on my EBS server, but I also see a host bottleneck on the CP load here and a DynamoDB that occurred at 4:15. So I can see correlation in events. I can see my load balancer is having an issue right after my host is having a bottleneck, right after I'm having a DynamoDB bottleneck. I could go back a little bit further and see Lambda, but that's a little bit further out. So I think this DynamoDB event drift may be related to my load balancer. So while my load balancer might tell me, hey, I'm having issues, it's my DynamoDB that might be actually triggering it. So I want to dive into my DynamoDB. I can look at the logs for my DynamoDB. And when I dive into those logs, I can now see pretty similar to before, but I actually want to filter these logs, and I can actually click log reduce to help me sort through all of these logs. Log reduce is a button that uses machine learning to identify patterns in your events, to identify if there are any logs that are standing out in terms of what are most common issues. So it matches patterns between your events and can pull out issues that you might not otherwise be able to find in your logs. And so now I can see that my DynamoDB is having a validation error with a user agent right here. So I can dive a little bit deeper into that. But you know what? I'm looking for a user that's causing this issue. So I want to go back and dive a little bit deeper into that DynamoDB database, and I want to look at the events on that related database. So I can see here on that Dynamo database, I can see some events are occurring. An updated table is happening right here. And I see that there's an error occurring here, and I can see which user is actually causing that. So I'm going to dive into the search for the update table that's occurring on this DynamoDB, and I can see again, I'm looking at the aggregates. I want to look directly at the messages, and now I'm going to filter for that event name one more time. I'm going to look at that update table, and when I do that, it just automatically adds that update table to the search query. And now I can see, I can scroll through here and I can see the username is Ankit Goel. So I can see who's causing this update table event on the DynamoDB at this time that's causing a drift in our metric, which correlates to our load balancer being overloaded. So I can go and contact Ankit Goel and I can say, hey, maybe we can dive a little bit deeper into what the root cause of your issue is, causing our DynamoDB to have an issue and an overload. So the root cause explorer lets you correlate these different issues across multiple services and then drill down into those events and find those related dashboards or error logs. So it makes it easy to jump down to the logs or look at it from a metrics point of view. So the metrics point of view, again, lets you correlate past timeframes, and the root cause explorer displays all of them as bubbles. So again, coming back to that 10,000 square foot view, you can see that I have a visibility at a high level across all of my AWS services. And then I have the ability to correlate all of my metrics and drift of those metrics and drill down to find out who is responsible for a metric being drifting beyond its normal level. Now, I want to switch back and talk a little bit more about about the observability solution and how you can use it and how we've seen customers use it in the past. So the first thing to understand is the way that it works is we're collecting all of your metrics from CloudWatch and CloudTrail and all of your AWS services into a single dashboard. And then we use the account, region, namespace, and entity to create filters and then automatically create dashboards for each of those accounts, regions, services, and namespaces and entities. So all of the dashboards I just demoed to you were all out of the box and come with our product. So as soon as you sign up for Sumo Logic, you can click to enable the AWS Observability dashboard, and you'll have access to all of these same features. Now, one of our customers has actually used AWS Observability and given us a nice case study. Snoop is a company that has a mobile app that provides ability to look at your accounts, and they use Sumo Logic to get real-time insights across all of their AWS services because their customers rely on Snoop to provide a real-time and always-on service. Anytime you're dealing with payments or banking or accounts, you really need to understand and that you have a critical service that customers cannot wait to get access to. So they have to have a perfect uptime. And to do that, we provide them with the real-time intelligence to identify issues before they begin to affect their customers. And so another key thing that by bringing in Sumo Logic and AWS Observability solution, they were able to get it running almost immediately. So they got it running very quickly. And as they scale, we scale with them. And also a critical thing to Snoop was that we protect the customer data. So all of that customer data that they're sending via logs and metrics and events to Sumo Logic are stored in our secure cloud. And we do not use your data for anything other than providing you a better service. That global intelligence that we provide is based on all of our customer data, and we give you that intelligence from across all of our customer base. A key result of switching to Sumo Logic for Snoop was reducing that noise, helping them sort through all that massive amount of logs and give them the signal out of that noise. And for them, they had 7 different AWS services all consolidated into a single view. So for them, it was more about giving them one view of their entire deployment. Now, Sumo Logic also uses our own product internally. We dog food and we use it within our own team. And so what we see internally is just helping our own team identify how we run our own service. So Sumo Logic runs on AWS. And one of the ways that we measure success is through MTTR, or mean time to recover. So if you are looking for those numbers, in at least one customer case study, we've seen a 5x reduction in that mean time to recover. And that's a critical metric that you want to monitor and understand how long it takes you to recover from an incident. And Sumo Logic is going to give that observability that you need to drill down and find the root cause and help you resolve that issue much faster. So for Snoop, it was going from 15 to 20 minutes to 2 to 4 minutes to find and identify and recover from issues. So another customer that we helped deploy AWS Observability for was Zest. Zest is a conversion rate solution that helps you identify your ticket sizes, and it provides the Zest Money payment platform. So again, it's another payment platform where availability and reliability is extremely critical for their customers. And so Zest requires a solution that is very fast to recover from an issue. They can't wait to solve an issue. So we got a nice call out from Ganesh, their director of DevSecOps, saying we're a good solution for root cause analysis. And what he's talking about is that root cause explorer. They really enjoyed our root cause explorer, using it to identify issues very quickly. So if you're not already using Sumo Logic today, we do have a free trial. You can start on sumologic.com. Feel free to ask questions right now. I'd love to answer any questions that you guys might have. You can also find detailed documentation for everything we went through, including Root Cause Explorer, on our help.sumo logic website. And if you want to contact me, message sales and tell them Colin sent you. We'd love to help you get started with our AWS observability solution. I see there's some messages in the chat group. So if you have any Q&A, please send them to me and I'd be happy to answer your questions. We also have on the call one of my colleagues, Abel from product marketing and our product management team on call. So if you have any questions, be happy to share answers with you. Thank you guys for joining me today. No questions yet from you guys, but I just want to thank you guys for joining me. Really enjoyed presenting to you. Oh, we just got a question. The question with AWS Observability, can the EC2 instances show other tags like a host name? Yes, that is possible. Let me go ahead and you can add your own. You can add several types of tags. You can filter by in this case, we just used our host names were these little instance IDs, but certainly we can filter by different tags. If you go to, let's see here, you can filter by API name, region, namespace, and account. You can also create your own dashboards. So if you want to filter by a different feature or a different tag, you can absolutely do that. You can use the built-in filters, but you can also create your own dashboard. So each of these dashboards is completely customizable. So I can go in here and change these dashboards just by clicking on open in metrics, and then I can go and change what that metric actually shows. So I can go in and change what filters I want. I can change my thresholds for changing colors, and let me see if I can do that right now. Let's do it with a API call right here. Open. I want to use a search. So let's do a search. Let's do ELB, and we can go to, let's see, open metrics, and we can add a filter. So you can add any filter you want right here. You can simply just I don't think I have any tags that I can add a filter for right now, but you can just add a rule to your query, and then once you save that, it will change your dashboard. So you can customize and change every single part of this dashboard. And certainly, if you have any suggestions or product feedback, we're certainly open to adding additional features. But in this case, tags you would do just by editing the search. Hope I answered your question. I got another question from, does observability just make use of existing metrics and logs being taken in, will increase the intake and impact the subscription level? This will not change your what data we're collecting from AWS. We'll use the existing metrics, logs, and events. Of course, if you don't already collect metrics from your AWS instance, it will enable those metrics. So it will increase the usage of your Sumo Logic instance if you are not already collecting logs and metrics from CloudTrail and CloudWatch. So if you don't pull data from CloudWatch and CloudTrail, it would increase your usage. But if you haven't set up CloudTrail and CloudWatch, the new solution automatically enables them. It makes it very simple to enable that. But if you're already collecting that data, then we're just making new dashboards for your existing data. So I guess in the best terms, this is a new solution for existing customers as well. So if you're already a customer, then you've already been collecting this data, and now we've just given you a better dashboard and toolkit, including the root cause explorer and AWS dashboard. So these are just new features for your existing product. We also heard one other question. If you don't see AWS Observability in your app catalog, you can enable it by following the steps on the help docs. So there's a link. If you search for AWS Observability in the help docs, you can see how to enable it. Any other questions? Oh, looks like we've got one more question. How about incident management? I don't know exactly what you mean by that question. Will incident management increase your intake, or will incident management be part of this solution? This specific solution, AWS Observability, is focused more on the metrics and events and traces, AWS, not specifically focused on security. We certainly do have a incident management solution. We have other webinars you can learn about that. We have a cloud SIEM tool, as well as security dashboards that are built in. Any further questions? Happy to answer them. Oh, we got another one. You have the root cause explorer, but is there any way to gather that info and metrics as an incident and help track it to conclusion? Yes, there is. So what you would do for the root cause explorer, if you liked something that was happening in here, you could actually create a alert for that. So you can generate your own alerts based on these metrics. Let me show you how that's done. But basically, yeah, you would say, hey, I want to create an alert on this metric, and go to the alerts page. Where'd it go? Under administration, sorry, manage data, alerts. And you can, let's see, test monitor alerting. So you can go in here and you can say, oh, here's a good example. I wasn't prepared for that question, but here's a good example. So set the metric to this, and you can set a alert, say when this reaches a certain level, you can trigger this, and that should generate the alert or notification to you based on that metric. I hope that answered your question. And you could also get to that metric specifically by clicking open metrics here as well. So that might be helpful. You can find the search for that. Okay, thank you. Let's wrap. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining.